Hi there, this is Val with Folk Wings. I just finished this pink journal, junk journal, and I think it's very vintagey looking. Love the fabric. It's from, I think the 30s is what the woman told me about this particular fabric. I bought a huge box of upholstery fabrics at an estate sale, and this was one of them. There are light and dark pink shades on a off-white or tan or ecru, however you want to describe it, background. It's got just a very feminine and vintage look to it, I think. There's the journal from the top and the opening, the bottom, front, back, very pretty. 3 signatures. I put a little kilt pin here and a brass. It's got a tie closure. I've included a little packet of goodies. There's tons already in the journal, but there are things to play with here. There's wood buttons and wrapped paper clips, butterflies, tags, tickets, waterfalls, stamps, little wood clothespin, offcuts, doily piece, play money, twine, all kinds of good things there, just for you. The journal is 8.5 tall, 5 1/4 across, and I'd say about 1 inch on the binding side. And so I'll untie it and do a walkthrough. I did hand-dyed all of the ribbons that are throughout that you'll see. I used vintage bindings to close it, hand crocheted lace, regular lace, and some binding. And okay, I've done some eco dyeing also that I put in. You can see it's all trimmed with laces, all hand dyed, like I said. This is an absolute beautiful eco dyed page. So I used that to line the back and the front. And you can see it's such a clear image and the different various colorations that where the dye will settle at one particular leaf. This is all purple basil that I used and turned out great. The journals are, the signatures are all covered in scrapbook paper. I bought a ton of it back in the day and never did scrapbooking. So I'm using it since it's pretty in each one of my journals. The tab is some hand-dyed ribbon. And as I go through the beginning, the first half of each signature, it's going to be duplicated in the back, so I'll speed that along. I did a lot of collaging in here, a lot of sewing, and a lot of punched edges. Journal card all sewn all around. And the first piece of hand-dyed paper that you'll see. You never know what you're going to get. Each dye bath comes out different. Can't reproduce it. Some beautiful pages. Vellum, punched edge. This is wallpaper from the 80s, and I just backed it with a little printout that I did, and then I did a punched trim on the edge. Book page with a collage on it, music sheet. The illustrations are fabulous. They're from the 40s. Drawing paper, children's drawing paper, and I did a stencil. And then some collaging on parchment paper and stamping on parchment and writing paper. I fussy cut this flower out and sewed it to hand-dyed paper. I throw papers and bits of lace and all that after I've dyed my, into the dye bath, after I've dyed my pages. And sewed another cutout here. Attached it with some washi tape that I thought coordinated really well. Most of the pictures of florals throughout the journal come from the same old book, and I just cut them out and put them in here. A pen and ink drawing I did, stenciling with some little pink rhinestones. That's about all the glitz that you'll get. I did hand-dyed lace here, some graph paper, coloring book page with a sticker on it. This is just printer paper, but I press flowers in between pages of printer paper and then put a weight on it. And this is purple basil too. And at the end of the summer, it comes up with this stamen that is just a wonderful but full of seeds. And so reseeds itself every year and it keeps coming up. We've got a little cheesecloth with some eco-dyed paper and this little stamped image of a butterfly. This is old recipe from a recipe book. My aunt used to do a fundraiser at her church down in North Carolina, and she would buy one and send it to me each year, so I have several, and the recipes are fabulous. But I trimmed that out, and paper doily, play money, hand-dyed lace again in a collage. Great little image here. Beautiful. Book page with a loom on it. Thought that was cool. And I make my own tags, layering several layers of paper and putting the image on front that I like. And then I used book page in an offcut to decorate it, to make a little pocket there. Punch the edges of my paper, as you can see throughout. Little book page double pocket. Another floral backed with real interesting bronze colored metallic paper, and I sewed all around it. And then just a little journal card and a tag, one of my handmade tags. And we're at the center of the first signature with craft paper that I used pinking shears to trim out. And then, like I said, most of the pages will be identical to what you see in the front half because, you know, it's the back end of all your pages are on the right side of your signature. And put a little journal card in a little tuck spot here. That's the only thing different on that page. I did a belly band here with some antique lace that's been hand-dyed in a little ballerina, and layered papers and sewed around the floral picture to make a journal spot. And I've already talked about those. And little journal card tucked in origami paper that's made into a pocket on that recipe paper. And did a double pocket here with origami paper. This is an offcut of coffee dyed paper, and I dropped, sorry about that, dropped a journal card, little floral image, some cardstock, and some graph paper, and the flower pressed paper. See this stamen, the leaf, real pretty. I love that image. I saved that for a long time, and I thought this journal needed that. I thought it was so pretty. Little collage here. Offcut onto a hand-dyed in paper from a book. So it's a book page, but just no printing on it. And some of that hand-dyed lace, and this is stamped the corners of some writing paper. Love this image. This is the other side of that wonderful music paper. The back side of the wallpaper in the vellum. And I saved this picture for a very long time. I just love the image. And so I used it as a big fat belly band, and I just put some journal spots, journal cards in here. Trimmed out with some of my antique laces that I dyed. Love the florals. A lot of journaling space, a lot of writing space throughout. Now we're in the second signature, and you can see I'm using scrapbook paper, and I use some of fabrics here to make a tab, and the one right here is an offcut from the fabric that's on the cover, Little Brad. And I did a beautiful flip up here with some vellum, some aligned paper that I drew up, notepad paper, writing paper. This is another eco-dyed sheet. Isn't that beautiful? It almost looks like a pink suede. And on this side, that's parchment cardstock. It's thick got a lot of weight to it. And I sewed one of the images from that floral book and put a little metal paper clip on that. You can see this was sewn down from the other side. Then I just put some lines there for writing. This is a pullout of layer upon layer of some scans that I did. And the writing you see on it, you can clearly see 1939. And I use a lot of French book pages in this journal. And this was a note written in Spanish, French. Oh, sorry about that. Written in French on a book page inside her high school French book. And it's dated 1939. And so I layered that with some of my lined work. And book page just trimmed out and punched. Graph paper. This is a French book page, and I put a little seed catalog picture on this side. On this side, I've got antique rickrack that's hand-dyed, and then this is linen stationery that I inked and punched the edges and attached it with some cloth washi tape. And this little image comes from some Christmas wrapping paper, very Victorian looking. This is an eco-dyed paper. You can see the stems and the leaves. This is, I'm trying to think, this wasn't roses. I can't think of what leaf I was using on this one, but turned out very, very well. Very pretty. I did some hand stitching along this coloring book page and a little flip over with a collage. Made a little pocket out of music sheet paper, trimmed it out with some washi tape and hand-dyed lace. And in that pocket, I've got several journal cards. This is a card catalog index card, and I have all of them that were available to me from a friend that's a librarian. They went digital. So she flattered me and gave these to me. And so I do sell them in the shop. Did a little collaging on the front and a little stamped inked hang tag that you can use somewhere in your journal with a little button attached. Book page, trimmed out, sewn around. This is graph paper with writing paper on the other side, and it's in beiges. I thought that was interesting. Copy dyed paper. Punched. Book page punched on both her top and bottom with a little collage here and a pocket on this side sewn around. More journaling space. Just offcuts and tags and a playing card with the theme that goes throughout. I put a dyed fabric. This is silk and this is damask. Trimmed all around, sewed it all around, and put a vintage button on it that I thought coordinated real well with the journal. Love that. This is baking paper, and when I'm doing any kind of eco dyeing, tea dyeing, coffee dyeing, I line a sheet pan with the parchment baking paper, and I throw it all in the oven at the same time after I've transferred all my eco dyeing to that pan. And it goes into a slow bake, and I watch it carefully because it's, flammable. But it picks up all my dyes. It's a subtle impression. It gets all crinkly and wrinkled, so you feel the texture, you hear the texture, and you can see it. I think it's beautiful. This is wallpaper I decorated with fussy cut and another piece of scrapbook paper, a different scrapbook paper, sewed all around it, put some brads into it. And on this side, I made a pocket, and I put some of that linen stationery that I own. This is undyed, and I've sewed a floral image. And the writing that's on the back side of the wrapping paper, and it comes from the 80s, I put another piece of wrapping paper. Why am I saying that? I'm so sorry. Wallpaper. And so I backed the wallpaper with another piece of wallpaper. So you've got a journaling spot and tickets you could put in there, or anything you want to save from a trip, maybe use this for travel. That's old writing paper. This is a French book page with, I always leave the notes from the student, and then I did a collage with various French book papers from other books and little accents that are offcuts from doing junk journaling. You gather a lot of little pieces, and you don't want to throw those away because they come in handy. And printer paper. That's the center of the second signature. And I punched the edges. The French paper, writing again. Another floral journal card in that wallpaper pocket with a paper pleat from a book page. The baking paper. This is something that I practiced in the beginning, and I thought, oh, this is really great when you journal, because sometimes when you get a journal, it's just so busy that there's lost space and you can't write on it. Well, I like the images here. So if I want writing space, I do this trick. I take a little bit of tissue paper and glue it down with a glue stick, and it stays really well, and you can see through it, and it's very bare minimal. Can you see the difference? It mutes out the ink from the printed page. So I use that technique sometimes. And this is a trimmed out with a vintage lace book page, a floral print from a book page attached to the book page that we were just looking at with the punched edges. Copy dyed, the graph paper with the writing on the other side, writing space on the other side, and I put that little key cut out. This is book page. I sewed all around it and added a little trim. And printer paper with the hand stitching and a little collage with an old stamp and some cheesecloth that's been tea dyed. And the Eco dyed paper again. Isn't that beautiful? The colors are just gorgeous, and you can feel the imprints of the leaves. French book page, and here I put a little scrim. The binders usually use that in the binding process of their book making, and so I put a little, I save that when I take books apart. And I use a lot of handoff books where people, maybe a child got to and scribbled on a few pages. So, I mean, the book is ruined, and so that's where I take my pages usually from. And I put a little wood button there, graph paper, punched, book page, and I love the, I did a little collaging on this side and put a picture of an owl that's so, it's such a beautiful shot the photographer caught. Isn't that pretty? Love that. And, you know, inked and dyed and trimmed with antique lace paper. Put a little offcut up there with a little pretty bird. And these are flower pressing papers that make a waterfall. And plenty of papers to write on. I've got two little brats holding in a journal card. And then I made another little tag that's been collaged. And then this belly band is vertical, as you can see, obviously. And I layered it with paper, sewn it all around. And this is from a magazine. I loved all the colors. So I cut that out of the magazine and then tossed the magazine. You can get free magazines at the library. And I'll just show you what's in the pocket. Made a pocket envelope, out of book page. And then put little papers that you can use for journaling inside. And then the ribbon is the closure. And had fun making that. Something I did on my own. I'm sure other people have made them. This is one of my little ink cards. But I wanted to open this up so you can see you have plenty of writing space on that parchment paper with one of those pretty florals sewn down. And then on the back side, I attached, oh, sorry about that. That's the end of that signature. And we start this signature. Pretty paper again, little accents, hand-dyed lace, my pen and ink sewn down. Book page. Made cute little collage here stuck some little journal cards in here for you. Journal cards, journal tags. This is an eco-dyed page. I did this one with ferns, and it just came out so fabulous. Love all the color. Book page. And this is printer paper I bought. It's got little specks of color in it. Love that. Punched it on the ends. Little collage on book page. French book page. Origami paper. And some stamped butterflies on children's writing paper. Book page with a little Victorian cut out from that wrapping paper I was talking about earlier. And I've got the antique rickrack on it, some washi tape, scrap of another book page, and I punched the edge. And then I made a belly band out of some lace that I had dyed, and I put an antique applique from the 30s there. And I've included an envelope. It's paper clipped, some origami paper. This is a collaged paper with, gosh, it's just so full of different things. Photos, doilies, eco-dyed papers from different colors, ribbon, picture, Victorian style picture. It's actually from a photo. Some book page, a word to inspire you. And then another offcut from some eco-dyed paper. And that leaf is, I think, wormwort, if I'm not mistaken. We have huge gardens. I do the landscape. My husband does all of the produce, fruit trees, veggie garden. I've got 3 layers of vintage laces, ribbon, and that old pink rickrack again. And one of those floral images on an almanac book page. And book page again. Children's book page. That was really cute. Coffee dyed paper, punched. Craft paper, the pinking shears. This is the center of the last signature, and it's a book page with all this floral design on it, and it's a nice heavyweight book page. It's got a finish to it. That was so pretty, but I just embellished it a little bit with some little things that I added to it. And I put some printer paper here, some journaling cards. This journal tag is floral fabric from a wallpaper book. And it's from the, I think they said it was from the 80s. And that's a book page on the back, and you can journal on that. And then I did a great little waterfall here with all these different offcuts of different assorted papers. And put a little Victorian print stamp right there. Over here, same thing. More journaling spots for you. And the craft paper, the coffee dye paper, the book, children's book page. This has got an offcut of a piece of eco-dyed paper that's shown in, I think, the first signature of the journal. And just did a little collage here on book page and punched the edge and put an offcut of eco-dyed paper. I fussy cut this out of scrapbook paper too and attached it to almanac page. Almanac pages are very thin, so I kind of like to back them up and make them stick thicker with something. And so I backed this side with a deep pocket, and I put some children's writing paper there. And I just thought this image was beautiful from a seed catalog, and then I backed it with book page, and you could do my technique if you want. I sewed all around it, but you can layer the tissue paper on top, and you have plenty of writing space on that pretty image. And then here we've got book page with fussy cut butterfly I glued on, little stamping, children's writing paper, origami paper with antique lace on it, French book page with the notes still on it, book page with a Victorian piece out of that wrapping paper I used earlier, printer paper with the specs, book page, I love that. And then the eco-dyed paper again, I trimmed it with lace on this edge. And it's a giant fig leaf and fern on this side. I layer both leaves all throughout. All different, whatever I can find from the garden. It might be hydrangea, but you get the drift. A little flip up on book page with a little paper glued down with punched edges for you to do a little hidden note there, and a little collage on the pocket, and 2 great journal cards for you. Little paper clip tag to match the journal. And we're at the end of that signature, and I've got a little fussy cut butterfly there, and I backed it with my printer paper again and sewed it together. And there's that great Ego paper in the back with the hand-dyed lace. It's just absolutely a beautiful junk journal. I did a backer card with French book page that's been used in here. And then I have an eco-dyed paper and some of my dried florals and laminated that all together. And then I just did a printer paper, and it coordinates with the junk journal, and you can use it to, at your free will, to do anything you want with it. It's no big deal. There are 100+ pages in the journal, and there are 3 signatures, like I said, and it's 8 1/4 tall, 5 1/4 across, and I guess a little more than 1 inch deep. 3 signatures. Okay, I really appreciate you looking at the flip through. I'm going to do some how-tos in the future, so I hope you come back. I have this listed in my Etsy shop, and so feel free to go and wander there, see if there's anything you would like if you're interested in junk journals. So thanks for watching. I'll be posting more. I hope you come back. That's it in a nutshell. So there you go. Bye-bye.